Chelsea start life without Frank Lampard in the dugout on Wednesday when they welcome Wolverhampton Wanderers to Stamford Bridge in the Premier League. A 2-1 defeat to the West Midlands outfit back in December was the start of a downward spiral for Lampard, who was relieved of his duties on Monday morning. The Stamford Bridge hot seat has claimed yet another victim of the ruthless Roman Abramovich era, and not even Lampard's legendary status at the club could prevent him from losing his job after a dismal spell of results. Chelsea are never far away from the center of controversy when their managers' generally short tenures come to an end, and despite suffering 5 defeats in his final 8 Premier League matches with the Blues, a large portion of the Chelsea fan base clearly feel that Lampard should have been given more time to work his philosophy at Stamford Bridge. A new era gets underway at Chelsea this evening as Thomas Tuchel takes charge of his first match, with Wolves visiting Stamford Bridge. All eyes will be on the first team he picks, and particularly whether Kai Havertz and Timo Werner are given starts. The German has been charged with the responsibility of turning the expensive duo's form around, after Frank Lampard's failure to get the best out of the summer signings contributed to his sacking on Monday. Werner's last significant act under the former manager was to miss a late penalty against Luton. Both he and Havertz have been dropped from key games in recent weeks as Chelsea's form has plummeted. However, reports of some Chelsea players complaining about the Englishman's tactics would have done him no favors amid the Blues' underwhelming run, and Abramovich is supposedly set to welcome former Paris Saint-Germain boss Thomas Tuchel to the capital in the coming days. Whether or not the German will be appointed in time to take charge against Wolves remains to be seen, but having lost his job at PSG while propelling the French champions back up the table, he will certainly be aware of the mammoth task facing him in this equally unforgiving role. The Blues eased to a 3-1 victory over Luton Town in the FA Cup as Lampard bowed out with a win, but with 5 points separating 9th-placed Chelsea from the top 4. They cannot afford to mourn the loss of Lampard whatsoever as Wolves look to turn their own fortunes around. Nuno Espirito Santo's job in the Molineux dugout is not thought to be entirely safe either, with the visitors now without a win in the Premier League since the December victory over Chelsea. Santo has since overseen 4 defeats and 2 draws from their 6 most recent Premier League matches, and having been expected to challenge for a European spot again this season, Wolves are now edging ever closer towards the danger zone. Liverpool are the only other team in the top 15 without a win in their last 5 matches, with the absence of Raúl Jiménez having an everlasting effect on Santo's side, although the loan acquisition of Real Sociedad striker Willian José should help them on the attacking front. The visitors also advanced to the 5th round of the FA Cup on Friday, but they were far from convincing against non-league side Chorley, and it took a wonder strike from Vitesse to separate the two clubs. As mentioned, Wolves came out on top in a dramatic 2-1 triumph earlier in the season thanks to Pedro Neto's last gasp winner, but Chelsea won 2-0 at Stamford Bridge last term and the visitors are without a clean sheet in 12 top-flight matches. Whoever takes charge of Chelsea on Wednesday will only have to deal with one injury concern in the form of N'Golo Kante, who is working his way back from a hamstring problem but will not be ready this week. Should Tuchel indeed take the reins at Stamford Bridge, he will certainly be tasked with getting the best out of fellow Germans Timo Werner and Kai Havertz, both of whom are yet to justify their big money moves to the club. Tuchel toyed with a 3-man defense during his final days at PSG but is also partial to a 4-3-3, a familiar system for the Blues, who should welcome Edouard Mendy, Thiago Silva and Ben Chilwell back to the first 11. Meanwhile, Wolves' new boy Willian José is not ready to take to the field yet as he waits to receive a work permit, so Fabio Silva should continue up top for now. Heading into the fixture, the big talking point around Chelsea invariably surrounds the managerial picture and how they will go about their revival in the second half of the season. However, not a lot has changed on the team news front, with N'Golo Kante still the only player unavailable ahead of the game against Wolves. Kante is still recovering from a hamstring injury and is still some way off returning to the field. With a near full strength up for selection, what will be interesting to see is the formation of choice. With Thomas Tuchel set to take charge of Chelsea, It is likely that he will keep things simple and line his side up in a 4-3-3 formation against Wolves. Edouard Mendy ought to be stationed in goal, with two interesting choices likely in defense. Cesar Azpilicueta could start ahead of Reece James in the right-back slot, with Ben Chilwell a certainty on the left flank. At the heart of the Chelsea defense, Antonio Rudiger, who is target for Tuchel at PSG, is likely to pair up with Thiago Silva. Up ahead in midfield, Mason Mount, a Frank Lampard favourite, should keep hold of his spot, considering his importance to the side on the creative front. Kai Havertz, one of the players looking for a lease of life at Chelsea, could start in the middle of the park, while Jorginho should dictate play from a deeper position on the field. It would not be an understatement to say that Timo Werner has flattered to deceive at Chelsea so far. Having arrived at Stamford Bridge on the back of a memorable campaign with RB Leipzig, expectations were understandably high from the German striker. However, he has just not been able to make the desired impact at the club. That Frank Lampard tinkered with his positions a number of times hardly helped matters for him. Now set to play under compatriot Thomas Tuchel, Werner might get a new lease of life at Chelsea, and he will surely be eager to impress the incoming manager, especially as he looks to end his ridiculous goal drought. Having said that, despite all of the struggles, only one Chelsea player has scored more goals than Werner this season, and a gentle push is all he really needs to get going again. With a lot to prove, how Werner fares against Wolves will set the tone for the rest of his campaign, and he will be raring to impress. Chelsea are unbeaten at home in 6 previous Premier League matches with Wolves, winning 5 and drawing 1. Wolves, though, are looking to complete a first top-flight league double over the Blues since 1974-75, having beaten the hosts in the reverse fixture last month. Wolves are in danger of losing 3 successive league matches for just the second time under Nuno Espirito Santo. In all, they have lost 9 matches so far this term, matching their entire 2019-20 league total. Chelsea have won just 2 of their last 8 league matches, D1L5. They could lose their opening 2 home top-flight matches of a calendar year for just the 3rd time. Chelsea have kept 13 clean sheets in 29 games in all competitions, the same tally as in 55 matches last season. Timo Werner has gone 11 Premier League appearances without a goal.